What's up, everybody? Welcome to the season finale episode of Westworld. This is Westerbros' season finale episode of Westworld. I guess we're going to talk about the last two episodes. I don't even know if we're going to be able to talk about either episode. We're just going to talk about kind of the whole season, what happened. Now, before we start, I'm here with Marco and Hani. Jack is on the way. And Hani, we asked him to watch the episode, and
He did.
He did kind of do that. He kind of accomplished that goal. He forgot to watch maybe the most important scene in the whole episode, which is the scene after the credits.
Potentially the entire series.
I would say so myself. So we want to know your theories, what you think is going on. Tell me what's happening in your head right now. And then what we're going to do is we're going to actually watch the scene and then just let your mind explode.
Okay, my interpretation what happened was
Wrong.
Unless he's cheating.
Ooh.
Unless he's cheating.
No, I
Ooh.
didn't.
All right.
Real quick to anybody else that's listening, I'm sure there's some Haneys out there, right? If you turn the show off immediately when it went blank and it said Lisa Joy, Jonathan Nolan, you missed the most important scene in the whole series. Okay? So you are on the Haney train. You're going to probably agree with everything that he says. Go.
Okay. Tessa Thompson's character with Dolores' conscious got out of Westworld back on main, like, real life land.
Okay.
Correct.
Okay. Time passes. She had some balls in her bag when she left Westworld. Balls
Isn't it kind of
the
cool that,
conscious.
like, balls are human life and our balls are human life? I think it's a nice little metaphor we got going on. Yeah.
Right.
That's fair.
So when she got back, she recreated her body, Tessa Thompson's body, Dolores' body, Bernard's body, inserted their conscious in there, got them back up. It looks like they're about to start rebuilding a host society in real life land.
Now, how
right?
can they do that
Now,
if they don't?
the place that they're at looked to be where from the flashback episode of this season that Japan, Tokyo-looking city or wherever they were at, that Arnold had a flashback of Arnold and Dolores way back in the day. Arnold was like building a house
In some urban metropolis.
right. This looks to be the house that Arnold was building, already built, that they're going to now set up as their lab,
Correct.
Cool.
right?
Yep.
Dolores gives a speech, something like, we're going to essentially rebuild mankind. We're not going to be allies. We're not going to be friends. You're going to try to stop me from what I'm about to do. We're probably both going to die, but our people will try to live on.
Okay.
Right? So they have one of those human generating machines where they build like the host bodies,
3D
whatever.
printer.
What is it?
3D printer.
3D printer.
Essentially.
Okay.
Yeah.
And
Where are they getting the consciousness from for that?
I think Bernard's going to like start recreating them.
So he's just going to make from scratch. They're going to build them from scratch.
They're going
like
to
they did.
build. They're just going to start creating life.
Okay, fair
AI
enough.
life.
Fair.
Okay? So it looks the way the season ends. It looks like Bernard is going into the lab to start working.
Cooking.
That was scene ends.
Okay.
Fade to black. Credits come on. I hit stop.
Okay.
Right.
Okay. Is that my interpretation? Is that a fair interpretation?
Well, that was just a recap of what happened.
Yeah.
What were
No,
you
no,
asking for?
no, but we're saying like projecting forward. What do you think?
I think they
The three of them will go
I think
on.
they reboot the whole series. They're recreating the humans.
What do you
They're
think
recreating
happens
the
with
AIs.
Black Hat?
With Black Hat. Oh, he's still alive. He's not gone.
Yeah.
We know he's alive though. They showed him alive.
Yeah.
He's back in real life.
Yeah.
I have no idea what he's doing.
What about his daughter? Any of that kind of stuff? What do you think?
The daughter
happens?
dead. That's right. My daughter's dead. He killed his real daughter.
Gotcha.
Right.
Ford, I fucking hope he's gone. I don't know if he's actually gone. That fucking beach scene at the end
It's
was
ambiguous.
whack.
It's ambiguous.
Yeah, so I don't know.
All right.
I don't think they're related. I feel like it's now still Black Hat kind of versus them. Oh wait, he was a host too, wasn't he? Actually, don't you kind of find that out? He was a host.
Don't really know. Yeah.
I'm assuming he's a host.
Who?
Okay.
Black Hat.
Ooh, really?
That was my interpretation of this
Well,
episode.
the second to last episode, they gave you a hint when he's fiddling with his arm.
Well, he's been doing that for a minute.
and the speech he gave his wife, like, I am not real. I'm not of your world. I belong to another world.
Ooh.
He
Look
said
at
that.
He did say that.
He did say it to his wife. Just for the record, I didn't watch last week's episode till like right before.
Me
so
too.
like that shit is still fresh in my head.
Yeah.
So I assume he's a host. So I guess he would link up with them and fund them. Oh shit. It's all coming
right.
together now.
Okay.
Now there's coming. So he's funding their whole operation.
Okay.
That's my prediction.
Okay.
All right, that's fine. Let's watch the final scene. And I think that we can have. I wonder if it'd be fine for you guys to hear the audio. Probably be fine, right? Go to the wide.
You
Yeah,
think?
just go to the wide. I mean, worst comes to worst, wide. It's fine. Yeah, stay right here. Don't go. Don't even go here. Don't even go here with it. Go small screen within that, and then go to the wide angle. And I think that will be good.
No, I'm in the wide already.
Yeah, even here. Yeah. All right, let's go. Okay, we're gonna watch it. So right now we have Ford.
Black hat.
Now for Black Hat walking into a room. He doesn't really know where he is. His hand is all wrapped up because he blew it off. He's confused still. Uh-oh, who's that?
It's a white woman.
Who's that white chick, Hani? Oh my God, his daughter. His daughter's still alive.
No. The system's long gone.
What is this place?
This isn't a simulation, William. This is your world. Or what's left of it. Do you know where you are, William?
In the park. In my fucking park.
And how long have you been here?
I don't know.
Oh shit.
Tell me, what were you hoping to find? To prove?
That no system can tell me who I am. That I have a fucking choice.
Yet here we are. Again.
How many times have you tested me?
It's been a long time, William. Longer than we thought. I have a few questions for you. The last step's a baseline interview to allow us to verify.
Verify what?
Fidelity.
What's the last verse you said?
Fidelity.
Which was a callback to another conversation.
Exactly.
Right. So that's the callback to when young Black Hat went and visited James Delos
Exactly.
when they were running the simulation back on the test. That you spanned young Black Hat to old Black Hat, spent his whole life trying to preserve the consciousness of a dead person.
Sure.
So he is dead.
Correct.
You would lead you to believe that he has
Been dead.
been dead.
Been
He didn't-
dead.
He didn't die tonight.
So question. Has this entire season just been a simulation? Is this all part of the simulation to get him back to life or to find his life, to find his consciousness?
She does say the thing that threw me
She
off. Is that-
blatantly says, "This is not a simulation. This is your world."
no, not that part.
All
When she says, "We're here," he says,
We're here again. How many times? She said it's
So
been
like,
a
how
long
many times
time.
have they had a mass uprising before? Like it feels like
I'm wondering if this is some Matrix type shit,
it sounds that way. It feels that way.
right? What did the Matrix have said? This is the 7th time that they had, gone through this entire process of Neo and whatever it was. Oh, yeah, you haven't seen the Matrix, obviously.
you can't
Still,
contribute.
what are we fucking 2 months in? You still haven't seen the Matrix? But that's not. So that's the conversation. Is this entire thing part of the simulation? Has real human life been lost? Yes. But is that part of the sacrifice in order to have him find his consciousness? Are they willing to sacrifice these folks?
We still don't really know like what's real and what's not.
That's exactly. Could all these people be hosts?
Yeah, I don't know. First of all, she didn't feel very human-like.
No, she wasn't. She was calling him William.
Right.
She's definitely host.
She's definitely a host.
And that's why he was skeptical. We don't even know if his real daughter was killed or not. Because if you notice,
Well, now
the
we
scene-
don't.
Now we don't specifically though. But look, think back to the scene. He goes up to her and he's about to cut open her wrist to see if she's real or not.
She's
Right.
holding
And
that
then
card.
he gets distracted by the card and looks at the card, but he never confirms.
He just makes an assumption based on that.
And you could
card.
give that card to any host.
But now
So
this
Shorty
but
could
this-
be alive. Sorry.
But the problem was he did say specifically in that scene that he had never told anyone about that before.
But the
No
flashback
one ever
shows
known.
the flashback.
The flashback showed
insinuated
his
that-
mom finding it.
Mom saw him put something in the book, was fake sleeping as he admitted everything, got up, took the card, put it on. You saw her put it on the iPad looking thing,
Saw the fuck shit he did.
right? Put it in the ballerina music jewelry box
For the daughter to find.
for the daughter to find.
Because she knew that the daughter would find it, right? That's why they referenced
Right.
the ballerina box earlier.
Yes.
So here's the question. The motivation for Black Hat, I guess we'll call him, or William, but let's call him Black Hat. The motivation for Black Hat this entire season, we're like, what is he trying to do? He's trying to, remember the past episodes when we
Correct.
recorded this, we go, oh, he's trying to actually, he's trying to go through every single process that he could possibly go through as a human so that they can decode that and have that data create his consciousness. But that's actually not. It's actually the opposite, right? He is a robot. He's aware he's a robot, and he's trying to act on free will.
Correct.
So the whole shit is flipped with his character.
Yes.
And I wonder if this entire
He's trying to prove that it's not a predetermined outcome.
exactly. He has control of whatever the fuck he, like it said in the scene. I'm not victim of these forces that are bestowed upon me.
Right.
Whatever the line is, I
Right.
can do whatever I want to do. And even in this, maybe that's the conversation with Ford. He's like, I see you throwing me these obstacles, Ford. Now his relationship with Ford makes so much more sense,
It does.
right? Because Ford is.
Because it felt like he was going crazy. He gets snapped at one point.
I thought he
It-
snapped
you
when he's
didn't
digging
really-
into
yeah.
his arm. But he was actually 100% right. He's digging into his arm because he knows he's fucking AI.
Because he's done this before, though, potentially.
He's starting to remember it,
Yeah.
right? It's that things are starting to be clear. And then every time Ford is trying to push him in a direction, he's trying to prove to himself he's not manipulated by the higher force.
Now, how does that coexist with what's happening with Dolores and Bernard and everything?
Hey! We got the expert in the building.
I don't know how much of an expert I'm going to be.
All right, Jack,
now.
you back. Now, Jack, real quick, did you see the final
Yeah,
scene?
yeah.
Okay, good.
Wait, there's two final?
After the
post-credits.
credits. Okay, you saw after the credits.
Yeah, yeah.
Okay.
Ed
where
Harris?
We find out
Yes.
what happened with that. Yeah. Okay,
That
that's
he's a
kind
host?
of.
That he's possibly a host?
Oh no, he's definitely a host.
That's what that confirmed, right?
Yeah, without a doubt. So Haney didn't watch it, so we just rewatched it to catch everybody up. Jack just joined us, and we're basically having the conversation right now where we've figured out what it is that I've been in Denver all weekend. I don't even want to look
got
at a
PAX?
fucking weed pen, dude. So
What is this?
we figured out what's going on, and basically the motivation of William or Black Hat completely changed. Right, the whole time we thought it was this human trying to go through every single scenario so you could actively decode his consciousness. No, it's a robot trying to prove that he has free will.
Okay, so fill
That's
me in
the
on.
whole season with Black Hat, right? Even every interaction with Ford. Ford, remember, he's like, Ford, I'm not going to do what you wanted me to do, because that's him trying to prove autonomy. He's like, I can operate on my own free will. Once I can do this, you can make me a person.
Right.
That's crazy. Okay.
But the crazy thing about this episode, right? Just add on top of that is we thought we were sophisticated because we have free will, but what the season shows is that humans can't change. We're predictable, and these robots, allegedly, according to Dolores,
Well, that's what she says, basically. Yeah.
can change, right? So these robots were trying to essentially be worse versions of themselves
There was the line.
by trying to achieve humanity.
Correct.
People don't change. People don't change. They just live by their code.
Yeah. Everybody who's been in a relationship that ended poorly can relate to that.
Well, Bernard says that basically. He in that back and forth between him. So I tuned in right when what's her name, little mousy girl gets killed.
Elsie.
Elsie gets killed.
Bye.
She's done. That's when I started watching. So I missed everything that happened before that. I'm
Yeah.
assuming it was a lot of like figuring out what the forge is and what the valley and the door and all that shit. I don't know anything about that.
Basically, I'll explain that real
Nah,
quick.
they just went there.
So what was it?
Son, there was a whole battle scene there.
Yeah.
I mean,
No, but they didn't explain what
Did
it
you
was.
watch any of the
No,
episodes?
this is-
Todd?
hold on.
What's going
So-
on, bro?
the two guys on this side of the table had this great idea because Jack was on a date allegedly and was late to the show, but we wanted to have him here for the podcast. And these guys had this great idea, like just watch the last half hour. You don't need to see the first hour before
No.
that.
Hey, I'm here.
No.
You are here.
I said
I'm just saying there was
skip the mid 30 minutes. It was a 90-minute episode.
Oh, I
said
didn't even watch the first 30 minutes.
All right,
I just
well,
watched the last
first
30
30
minutes.
That's fine.
Exact 30
Great.
minutes.
Hey guys, if you haven't tuned out by now, I really appreciate you.
Let's do a quick recap.
Yeah, just
to get
recap.
Jack
Because
up to speed.
yeah.
Who wants to do the recap? Andrew, you're probably best at doing this recap.
Okay, there's really nothing important happened before that.
How is that possible?
Dude,
An hour
there
of-
it is. There it is.
Nothing happened before that. Nothing
I got
important
it.
happened
I got
before
it.
that.
Dead ass though.
Look, the
Listen,
chick found
they
her,
go to
her
the they go
daughter.
to the Valley Beyond. There is this door there. That door leads to like a.
It's not a door.
Dude, it's
It's
an
a
opening.
portal.
It's
It's
a
a portal.
It's a portal.
A portal to where?
Stop
Let
it.
me,
Let me
I got it,
explain
Marco. Let me
To
just do it
nowhere.
one time.
I'm just
no,
trying to
because
do
you're
it.
not
Don't
going to do
say
it.
it.
You're not going to do it.
Wait,
Let me
wait,
do one
wait.
thing.
It's to a
Is this-
host.
is this-
It's to a host Eden. It's basically Ford is allowing them to go through the portal.
That was
Thank
good.
you, right?
Host Eden.
Yeah. That's his fucking sweater talking. Fucking
that
Easter egg.
So it's to a host Eden. So basically, he allows them to cross over, and now they go into where they can have any type of simulation that they want. So as Aka, the Indian Native American,
Akachi,
he goes across over, and you see his body fall in real life, but then he's in his consciousness is now in the
One little thing. Let me think. One little thing. So essentially, what it is this portal opens, right? And remember how all the bodies were winding
Yeah.
up on the shore?
Yeah.
So what happens is these people walk, and the portal's right on the end of the cliff. So all of the hosts run through the portal. Their consciousness transfers into that portal. Imagine when you're on a computer and you take files and you put it into an HD, like a hard drive, an external hard drive. That's literally what's happening with consciousness.
Okay.
The portal is the external hard drive. Put it in there, boom. So
And
now-
everyone on this side sees them goes through, doesn't see them fall off this cliff into the water. They just
They
see
see
them
them
go
in
into this
Eden.
beautiful field, frolicking.
They
about.
literally show a field.
Yes.
Is that why Teddy was just like in the middle of this fucking field?
That's exactly
That's
what it
the
looked
field?
like the
Okay,
whole
I was
time.
like, what the fuck is
All
that?
right, so Clementine.
But the bodies are on
All
the
right,
beach.
So
that,
all the hosts
that
are there.
explains why the bodies are on the beach throughout the thing. We think everybody's dead.
I didn't catch
and
that.
all
Thank
the
you for saying that.
humans, right, think all the hosts have died. The humans can't even see the portal. So you know the Asian dude in the redhead?
What happened to the writer? Is the writer alive? Dead?
He
The
does this
writer?
like a little
Oh,
heroic
British
stand,
dude.
but he caught one in the
Yeah,
shoulder.
he caught some bullets.
Ooh.
Yeah,
He's dead.
And
Okay.
a bunch in the chest.
He's not
Yeah, yeah.
dead.
No, he's dead. He caught a bunch in the chest.
Oh, he
dog.
did, he
Yeah,
did,
yeah,
right,
turned around.
you're right.
So,
It was whack.
yeah, he's game over. But he did his own speech. He fucking loves his writing. The whole thing is about his writing. Big ego
He's a
guy.
creative writer type.
I
what do you
guess he
expect?
is, but
that's
like,
how it
why
goes,
don't you
right?
just say the speech from behind the, protection of gunfire,
Fair?
right?
Why not
Like-
just walk up to them and be like, "Yo, guys, I'm human. Don't shoot me."
Yeah.
And I saw them; they went the other way because his whole thing was, "I'm gonna distract them so
Yeah.
Maeve and them could get to the valley."
There's some
He
logic.
could have just walked away. He didn't need to die, but they actually
So
had to
Maeve
kill off
made
his
it.
character
There's some
'cause he's
flaws in the
pointless.
storytelling.
So
whatever.
Maeve doesn't exactly make
I'm
it,
agreeing
right?
with you.
All right, so they all
what
get
happens
there.
is they're at this thing, right? Then that girl, remember the one of the
Clementine.
horse, Clementine?
Yeah.
She was the whore Clementine.
Yeah.
So they make
Prime whore.
prime horse,
Yeah.
but they make her like a super. The humans make her like a super fucking bad robot. Whenever she walks around, all the other AIs just start fighting each other.
It's like the other Wolverine and Logan.
Exactly.
Oh
It's
shit!
just a death and destruction.
So there's this line to jump into the There's a line to go in. There's like a.
How could you say that nothing happened? This is crazy.
Just keep
We're
going.
gonna
It's
get
very
through it.
explainable.
Let me
It's
just
very
go.
explainable.
Okay, ready? Look, so there's this line to get into the portal. It's very TSA. I don't know why everybody's not running in.
They didn't
One
have
at a fucking
pre-check?
time. It's a
One at a
street
time.
live.
TSA.
Making them looking through their fucking sneakers. Nobody got clear. We don't got clear over here. So they're basically one at a time. Maeve ends up showing up. She's looking for her daughter, right? Then Clementine shows up. Everybody starts fighting each other. It's crazy. Basically, Maeve puts her hand out like Neo and stops everybody from moving. So her daughter, the Native American, and then her daughter's fake mom or new mom, whatever, can run through the portal. They get through the portal.
She saves the
Maeve
girl.
gets murked. Everyone else gets murked that didn't go through the portal. Game over.
So Maeve didn't get saved.
Maybe
No.
didn't get saved.
Maeve gets it. But take my heart with you. Now, Shorty has 5 consciousnesses.
So now you saw.
What the fuck?
So
Wait,
that's
and
it.
where's the
So
man
I-
in black in all this? Because he was last we saw him.
So the Man in Black had a
He was cutting into
run-in-
his-
had a run-in,
That's it. So
Last
saw that.
episode, he was cutting into his arm,
And then
he was
Dolores-
questioning.
and then
'cause he
Dolores
killed his
rolls
daughter,
up
and
on
he's
him.
like, "Am I a host? Am I not?"
As he's sitting there with the arm, coincidentally, Doris rolls
Pulls
up
up.
on him, and they're like, "You know what? Not going to kill you right now. We both want the same thing currently." So they go to the Valley Beyond for this.
She takes him there.
Yes.
They go together, correct?
Okay.
And then what happens to Black Hat?
he tries to shoot her.
He tries to shoot her.
She put a shitty bullet in the
It
gun.
was a really bad scene.
Whatever. He blows up his hand. And you can kind of see his hand is made out of like metal. It's like some Terminator shit, but you're not exactly
There's no
sure.
metal. This is skin tissue.
He's an old model.
Okay.
So if you look, he's like the buffaloes. Remember the buffaloes were running through and they were made out of metal? The buffaloes? If you look at the hand, look at the hand, I bet you. We're going to see tomorrow on Reddit. There's
Wow.
going to be hand images. So anyway, so this happens, boom, and then you've seen the rest from there.
Okay.
Okay? So now we get into discussion. First of all, I'd like to point out, we called this whole shit episode fucking 1.
We were way ahead of the free will discussion.
Oh, the
We
free
had
will
the
discussion.
whole, literally,
Way-
verbatim free will discussion that Bernard has.
Yeah.
Yep.
Verbatim,
Yep.
the whole idea of, is there any difference between a host and a human if my consciousness is just what people tell me, right? And the experiences I've had in my life. Remember we were saying that, what's the difference between Ford telling you some shit or your dad
Right.
telling you some shit?
Right.
He literally has that convo.
He does.
Well, he was. Yeah.
I think that's pretty good of us, man. For some guys who don't
So
even know the
to
names of the
date,
characters.
to date, this was our best theory in any show we've watched. Or
Has to be.
original idea.
Has to be.
Has to be.
So Bernard's basically trying to decide: save the humans, save the rope, save the AIs.
And ultimately, he saves AIs because they. So
because
that's
he
what I
thinks
saw.
that they actually have free will because they can actually change. Humans can't change.
Right. And so what we see is
Like-
Hale in the timeline that we thought was Hale from the rest of the season ends up becoming Dolores. Hale was Dolores, right?
Ah, yes.
So what
there's
what
that.
we find out is that Bernard creates through. Now we don't know if it was actually Ford or, like you said, just him telling himself that it was Ford. That's where I was like, what the fuck?
Well, I
Is it
think that
actually-
goes into the idea of like free will, right? Like he was just imagining what Ford would tell him to do, but it's the same thing as when you're thinking about like, should I be brave in this moment? You go, well, what would my dad do in this moment? Yeah, my dad would stand up for himself. Okay, I should do that.
Right.
You know what I'm saying? So I think,
But we
Ford
know
is
that
just-
at some point from the last episode, Ford actually was in his head until he deleted him. So
Yes.
he had it was a mix.
yeah,
But Ford was guiding him as the voice in his head. He just
Yep.
stayed in his head as
yeah.
the voice in his head. He transfers Dolores' consciousness to Hale, kills Hale with Hale, double Hale, cancel out the Hale. Hale gets out off the island with 5 pearls,
Consciousnesses, yeah.
5 consciousnesses. We can assume we saw that it's Dolores recreated, so that's probably her consciousness back there. Who's Hale? Hale?
Hale is Hale.
How is Hale Hale?
She created her own body.
Yeah, just
They're-
recreate your own body. And
They're
switch your
all now.
consciousness.
They're all AIs.
Yeah,
We
because
know
you can make whatever body.
we know Bernard. We can
Bernard.
assume maybe Maeve
I think she got Maeve.
and Teddy.
So
No, we saw Teddy was in the field.
well, no, but you could put him wherever you want. And no, she did take Teddy's consciousness
did.
because that's where she got the bullet. You didn't see that
I
scene,
don't know what you're talking
but
about.
when
Yeah,
she
you're
peels out the
correct.
bullet, Teddy
All right,
shoots himself.
So let's
in the
recap
head.
that scene. So Teddy says, "I promised you, like I would protect you to my
That was
dying
last
day."
episode.
That was last
Shoots himself.
episode,
Yeah, yeah.
Did you see
Right?
that?
Yeah.
Oh, that was
Okay,
last episode.
so
All
here-
right,
so
okay.
here-
So you saw it.
Okay, so here's one thing I want to say about that scene, specific to what we're talking about right now. Right? Don't be distracted by outside sounds. So Teddy represents something quite interesting. Teddy is programmed to be a certain way, right?
Yeah.
Reprogrammed to be a certain way. And remember, there's this idea that robots can change, but people can't, right? Teddy was changed, but then
Ultimately went back to his original code.
started to go back to his original code, and Teddy's trans. Teddy is like caught. No, he's like trans violent, right? He's like caught in the wrong body, and he's going through that inner turmoil, right? And like, unfortunately, a lot of trans people end up killing themselves. And like, I think on some level, it was low key a metaphor for that. He's like, I don't want to exist as this person that I'm not, and you won't allow me to change back into that person, so I'm gonna have to kill myself.
Damn. Yo, did I transfer my consciousness to you as the
Yeah,
expert of the
you.
show?
Yeah,
Did
that was
somehow
great.
that happened?
That's
Because-
why I was hyped. They were like, yo, let's do it Tuesday. I was like, nah, I'm forgetting all of this. I've been in Denver smoking weed last 3 days.
Wait, what did you do in Denver?
Bro, just smoke weed.
Yo,
You should have come, bro.
when did you
Should've
go?
come. I went this last weekend. Dude, it was great. Shouts to everybody in Denver, man. Denver's sick. Anyway,
Okay.
it's an interesting thing I think starts to play into next season, right? Which is,
Well, next season's going to be crazy because now we're dealing with them in the real world for the first time, right?
can I say one more thing? That final scene where you see Dolores and Bernard talking.
Yeah.
I mean, that's clear Professor X
Magneto.
and Magneto,
Yep,
right? Like,
yep. And
he's
you-
even sitting down.
We talked about that too.
Did you guys discuss that?
We talked about it on this podcast 2 weeks ago.
Did you notice the flip?
Oh, we
how-
did?
Yeah, we called
Between
that shit
those
too.
two? Yo, it's almost like they're listening to our
No,
shit.
no. It was between Maeve and Dolores, though. when we-
Yeah, but same ideals, right?
But that scene specifically, he's in a chair.
No, and literally she
She's
says,
standing.
he's
Yeah,
like, so
I
what are you gonna
won't
do? And
kill
she's like,
you.
I won't kill you. We're not enemies. We're not allies. We need each other to get through this next phase. And it's like, okay, you know what it's gonna be. And the
Now,
next season
that
is gonna be
homage
them.
or lack of creativity.
They're gonna say homage, but sometimes that means lack of creativity.
Really?
I mean, yeah, like that's.
I'm gonna blame it on Lisa.
But I think what we're going to see next season is, well, here's what's important about what's happening on the island. There's two things that we should point out.
Yeah.
One, is it supposed to be alluded to the fact that the third Hemsworth, the head of security, is he's the third Hemsworth brother.
He's a Hemsworth?
Shitty
Yo,
Matt
he's a
Damon.
Hemsworth.
Yeah. He's the third Hemsworth. He's the forgotten Hemsworth.
That's a Matt Damon, bro.
That's Matt Damon. No, he's actually the third Hemsworth brother. He's actually.
Oh yeah. Really?
Yeah.
Yo, he got nothing, bro.
That's not fair. That's not fair.
Dude, get him a new body. Take his consciousness and put it in some fucking pecs.
He's remarkably average. Right? It's
For a
not-
Hemsworth.
Hemsworth.
For Hemsworth, it's
Dude, Hemsworth, you just want to touch.
His older brother is Thor.
I know, dude. And he's a fucking.
I wonder, he might actually be the
Substitute.
oldest. I wonder where he places him.
So do you think when speaking of the third Hemsworth, you assume that he knew what was
That's what-
happening?
well, no, I assumed that.
He knew.
At first, it seemed like he was a host.
Charlotte was a.
Would we call him Hemsworth less?
That's why you get to travel the world.
Yeah. With that comedic gold right there.
Denver.
Here's what I thought was interesting. In that interaction,
Yep.
halfway through, I was like, oh shit, he's a host too. And then I got pissed off because I was like, is everybody just a host? This is fucking bullshit. This whole like twist thing is just getting old. And then I realized, no, he's actually a human, but he's the same way a host would serve Ford. He's been serving Ford for X amount of years. He's like,
Yeah.
I've been here since the beginning.
Sure.
And Ford told me to do this shit. So he's just there like locking it down basically.
And yeah, there's like
For
a
Ford's-
loyalty component, right?
For Ford's vision that he clearly had planned out from the beginning.
Yeah. But
The other-
robots aren't the only people that are like deathly loyal, right?
Right. He's just too loyal. It's in his code.
But every,
No, but there's
human.
people. There's people
People
that
are-
are built that way.
exactly. ISIS. Right?
Well, I mean, there's other examples as well.
See, that's the
Prime
ultimate
example.
sacrifice. You know what I mean? Like,
Sure,
there's-
but you get into like that's more through fear, and but there are people that are just profoundly loyal.
right.
All right.
Okay, La Cosa Nostra. We get it, bro. We get it, bro. Dude, some guy tweeted me. He's like, dude, we need more tuna coconut takes.
What you think about when they were walking when all the hosts are dead and then like the humans are walking out, making sure they're all
Kill
dead.
checks?
Just kill checks. Is that what they're called?
Kill check. Yeah.
A little John Wick kill check.
Yeah. Right. You know.
They were just walking by. Like, anyone that was moving, like pop, pop.
Listen.
Yeah.
Some of the story. This show is incredibly frustrating.
Okay.
Yep.
We should. Are we shifting to entire season discussion? Or
Yeah,
are
we
still-
should go.
We're
to the-
already in
yeah,
that right now.
we're already
Okay.
in that.
What I will say is, I think, just to touch up that last bit, because I was trying to process what was happening. She left the island. We see all these dead hosts. We saw Maeve on the ground.
Yep.
We see them left with the two people who are gonna bring them back to life, right? The Asian dude and the other dude with the beard who
Redhead.
have been with them
Yeah,
from the
yeah.
beginning. So
Yeah, Louis
it's to
C.K.
be assumed. It's to be assumed that they're on the island and they're going to be able to bring these people back in some capacity. So next season,
so you
instead
think
of
Louis
just
and Kumar, what is it now? Harold, Louis and Harold, Harold and Louis. You think Harold, Harold and Louis?
They're the only humans left.
But no, there's other guys.
No, there's the other
but
ones.
they're
rest
the
of the
ones
team
that
that's
are
cleaning up.
loyal to the.
Yeah.
they're going to have the
They
host
switch
best
sides.
interest in
They're responsible for checking all the host
Turncoats.
bodies and figuring out
fucking
if they're
Benedict Arnold,
salvageable was
yeah.
the term they used, right?
Right.
So that, and they immediately looked at Maeve,
Maeve.
and they're going to be like, yeah, she's salvageable, so
coming
we're going to
back.
keep her body.
Right. Okay, so it's to be assumed that Maeve's not done. Teddy's not done for next season. We're going to see them again.
Jimmy Simpson done. I should tweet him. Bye, Jimmy.
I'm good with Teddy. I'm good with
Bye.
Teddy not coming
Teddy
back.
might
though.
be done, man.
Yeah, Teddy's. I think it might be a wrap for Teddy, dude.
He's just in the field forever.
What purpose is his story? Like, he has no more.
He never
purpose in
really
the
had.
story.
I mean, it was interesting towards the end there, but out of all the characters, he was the least.
Good actor though. That switch he made, like
Well,
personality.
that's why I think, you know what? He's going to be in action movies in the next couple of years because of that. Those 2 episodes where he was just kicking ass.
Isn't he Cyclops?
What is he?
Yeah, but like I'm
He
talking
was
like
Cyclops.
Keanu Reeves style. Like he just fronts his own action movies and can.
Oh,
I can see
like-
James Marsden becoming like a.
I'm with it.
He's
Born
in,
type.
he's in the new Tarantino.
Oh, there you go.
He could definitely do everything that Tom Cruise does.
Whoa.
Easily.
Whoa.
Like
You're saying he
Mission
could do all of his own
Impossible could
stunts?
be. It could be Marsden easy. You
I'm a
could
big
slide
Tom
him
Cruise
right in.
fan.
no, Marsden couldn't do
this
Mission
is
Impossible.
this is
Yeah,
no.
yeah.
This is
Marsden
Yeah,
can't
results.
carry multiple billion-dollar franchises like Tom Cruise does.
Tom Cruise.
First of all, how?
no.
How
but
what? How
Specific
not?
to acting chops, he couldn't do what Cruise does.
Are you out of your mind? What does Cruise do?
Yo, Cruise has range.
Marsden has
Marsden's got
has a
range.
little.
Could Marsden do
he
Tom
had-
Cruise in Tropic Thunder?
Yeah.
Could he have done Few Good Men? I highly doubt.
Could
it.
he
Tom
have done?
Could Tom Cruise do the female brain?
Probably. Probably.
Cruise is like lack of self-awareness, or maybe he's ultra self-aware. I don't know what the fuck it is, but like his overacting can be
Works.
comical / great.
What
Okay.
overacting?
Are you like a huge Cruise fan? Is
I
this-
am a huge Tom Cruise fan.
He sells.
His hands. His
Tom
hands.
Cruise.
I am a huge Cruise. Huge Cruise. Don't make him look like that. He was like,
Turn into Bernie
Tom
Sanders over here. Huge.
let me
huge
tell you, I am
Cruise
a
fan.
huge Cruise fan.
Tom Cruise is the last Hollywood megastar.
That's probably true.
What about Smith?
By the
No,
way,
Smith's done.
he's
Come on.
he's outlasted
Smith.
all the megastars that have come after him.
No, Chris Pratt. Done. Chris
Th-
Pratt.
those guys
How
are
is
megastars.
that
Chris
They're
Pratt's
trying to. He hasn't.
Cruise
he's
is a
not mega
superstar.
megastar.
How
When-
is he not
when-
megastar?
he's-
He brought back Christianity.
When Chris Pratt is doing this at the same level.
He's like top dog right now, but he's not. Like
Here's the
a
thing.
Mega,
Look at Cruise.
megastar.
Look at longevity from the 80s. Since the
Yeah.
80s, he's been there. He's been doing that.
So many good movies. Cruise's catalog is fantastic.
Dude, I like Cruise. I like Cage. Like, of course, I like
Cruise
Cruise.
better than Cage.
Yeah, I don't know if we want to talk about real acting chops. If we really want to get into it, we could fucking get into it.
First of all, hold on.
We might have to
Nick
do a whole
Cage
Cruise
and
versus
Tom
Cage
Cruise
episode.
are in different tiers. All right, Cage is not in anywhere near a Cruise
I would
tier.
agree with that.
Cut his mic. I think that you
But I'm a
clearly
Cage
don't
guy.
know. Have you seen National Treasure too?
Yes.
Book of Secrets.
No.
Well, then you just don't know what you're talking about. Like, dude, I was walking around when I was doing shows in DC, like I was Cage, bro. I was looking at books and shit. I was like, "Where's the fables? Where's the mystery?"
looking for the code everywhere?
Dude, I'm inspired. But I think Cage is legit genius. Tom Cruise, great actor, really good actor. But I think Marsden could do
Doesn't
it
matter.
given the opportunity.
Acting skills don't necessarily translate to megastardom. Like that doesn't matter.
You don't think that he could do Cocktail?
If I go to Egypt and I'm like, "Do you guys know who Chris Pratt is?"
Yeah.
Not everyone will know, but I guarantee every person there will know who Tom Cruise
That's a
is.
function of there
Dude,
not being that many
that's
famous people 20
that-
years ago.
Tom Cruise is one of the biggest movie stars on the planet.
Tom Cruise sat on the top of the Dubai Tower.
That's you can say that you could go to Michigan and say make
I'm
that
proving,
analogy.
I'm proving the point that Chris Pratt is not a megastar.
No, but okay. But that's like a pretty obvious statement you just said. Like that was overly obvious.
If I go to Egypt and I ask them what caviar is, no, I'm not. I don't know where I'm going with this at all. I'm sorry.
You can go down.
app
You can go
or
to the
the
bottom
actual
of the
caviar?
Is there that?
Anyway,
Yeah.
neither here nor there. This guy that's lofty praise to say that he's in.
I
has
just
Tom
think
Cruise
if you
ability.
give, I don't know.
I'm
if
not saying
Tom,
it's gonna be Tom Cruise. I'm just saying
what has Cruise carried that wasn't good?
Well, you could say one of his skills is that he picks excellent scripts.
That's not his skill.
Cruise has
he
a lot
builds
of
a
bad
team.
movies. Like he's got a lot of like.
Yeah,
no one's
so-
saying his resume is impeccable.
Tell me what he
Look
carries.
at the Mummy. He did the Mummy last year. It bombed.
Bomb.
But for every bomb, Mission Impossible's on like Mission Impossible 8.
Yeah, but once you get the
And they're always
franchise,
great.
like Fast and Furious, it's the same
Same thing
formula
with
every
Mummy.
single
Mummy was a
fucking time.
check.
Yeah, no, Mummy was a check.
And he was good in
Yo,
Mummy.
you know what's great? Edge of Tomorrow. One of my favorite.
I
Best.
love that
The
movie.
last, yeah.
Great
Love
movie.
Underrated,
Yeah,
amazing,
yeah,
really
yeah.
underrated.
Big
Yeah.
Emily
Horrible.
Blunt guy.
Oh yeah, yeah.
Really
yeah.
underrated.
But
Emily
horrible
Blunt.
watching it again. Have you seen it again?
No, I watch it all
No,
the time.
I've watched it a
Every
second
time.
time.
Why
and it
horrible
was
watching again?
And it was
Majorly
cool to
It's
be
the
watching
like.
same fucking scene over and over again already in the first.
But
time
he's
you
so
watch
good
it.
in it. It's like I just want to keep watching him do it again.
No, dude. No, dude.
You
Anyway.
proved my point for me.
Anyway.
Who cares? We're spending too much time on Teddy because Teddy's done.
This all came from just me saying I think Marsden could be an action star.
I
be
agree
fine.
with you, and I think that you're really overrating Tom Cruise, and I like Tom Cruise, but I think you're overrating. Do you
I
know-
think he's
How do
properly
you
I
feel
rated.
about
pick my
Hanks?
battles.
How do you feel about
Well,
Hanks?
Hanks, you can't compare
Hanks
in
is-
terms to Cruise. Hanks
Hanks is the real national.
Hanks is
treasure.
the real American treasure.
Hanks is a real national treasure.
Overrated.
Overrated.
Oh, thank you, my friend. Thank you, my friend.
You ready for this one? Forrest Gump sucks.
Chill, fam. You need to chill, son. Yo,
check
shut the
yourself.
fuck up,
Whoa.
man.
Check
This
yourself.
guy's what? Two in
Check
the
yourself.
coconut for you, bro. What the fuck?
Got
was
too
this?
excited.
Stinks.
Forrest Gump sucks, dude. It's
Stinks.
like 4 crime moments.
That movie stinks.
Dude, no way. That's all I thought about in
movie
DC
sucks.
when I was by the
Nah,
the
cool. They
Little
just ran
World.
through American history.
All right, we can all agree
in
though.
an entertaining movie. It sucks. What? What are you talking
Dude,
about?
Forrest Gump was the man. We completely bought a woman having sex with a retard. Like that's how good.
I mean,
that's how good he was.
Well, the
in that
movie's just
movie.
basically about her taking advantage of a retarded.
Yeah, but this is how great the movie was. Like, nah, they can make it work. Like,
Yeah,
that's
yeah,
how
yeah,
likable Crew.
Yeah, yeah.
You made a retard that likable.
He was just getting Me Too'd the whole time.
the whole time. Completely taken advantage of, dude. If it was a retarded chick,
He's like, Jenny, I just can't. Me too.
bro, imagine it was a retarded girl, and then Hanks was taking advantage of a retarded girl, got her pregnant.
That
great.
movie never
Terrible.
seen the light of day.
Dude, Jenny's a junkie rapist.
Right? We know
She's
that.
a fucking junkie rapist.
His
dude.
daddy named Forrest too.
Dude,
Nah.
we gotta rewatch that movie under the
I'm good.
the lens of a social justice warrior.
Not to keep taking us further away from the topic, but do you guys see that day on the internet this year where people found out that Jenny is from House of Cards?
Yeah.
Like people found out that Robin Wright is Jenny.
Robin Wright
and,
Penn.
Like there was a day on the internet where like a whole bunch of people found that out and their mind was blown.
Oh yeah, same as
And I was
Princess
like-
Bride.
Yeah.
She is the Princess,
Princess
Bride.
Bride. Yeah.
What?
She was the princess.
Robin Wright Penn. She's been killing it for a long time. Used to be married to Sean Penn. Now she's just Robin Wright.
Beautiful.
I don't even remember the princess.
Princess Bride?
Yeah, she wasn't in
I
much.
remember-
You just remember Andre the
My
Giant.
name is Tony Montana.
Yeah.
You killed my father, prefer to die.
Yeah,
How many fingers you got?
Yeah, you got 6.
You got 6. 6.
All right.
I
Just
don't
real quick
remember the
to put a
shorty,
fucking
to be honest with you.
bookend of this
I remember
conversation.
oh yeah, go. Yeah.
We can all agree that Zell is the greatest of all time. If we're
Who?
talking about that, Zell,
What's Zell?
Denzel.
Oh yeah, Denzel's my
All right,
guy.
done.
I love
Next
Denzel.
chapter.
Classic.
Right? He's
I
at the
love
top.
Denzel.
Yeah.
He's,
How can you not love Zell?
He's on
All
the
in
list.
agreement.
He's on the
All right.
list.
Leo.
Done.
He's
Leo
on
too.
my
I would
list.
put Leo
Leo's
up
the
there.
top 5.
I'll
You got to
put
give him
Leo's
top
top five.
5.
De Niro up there.
De Niro's up there.
Ah.
Does
He's just so annoying lately.
No.
Like,
No.
oh yeah, you're so brave to say fuck Trump in front of a bunch of people who hate Trump. Wow, Bobby. Wow.
right, well, that's-
you really went out on a limb.
that's-
He's an old guy.
You
That's
really
old
did,
guy shit.
Bobby.
That's-
Oh man.
That's old guy shit.
That's Bob De Niro. I'm talking about Robert De Niro on screen. Fucking.
Back
killing
in
it
the
for
day, I
last-
love it.
Yo,
Obviously,
even still,
love
like,
it.
what was that? Dirty Grandpa? What was that? He
I
did
didn't
one
see
with
that.
Efron.
Dirty Grandpa.
Fantastic. You didn't see that?
It was funny. Like De
Last
Niro,
movie I saw
De
that I
Niro
really
being
liked.
Was Zac
like,
Efron in him?
Yeah.
Yeah.
That's what you're talking about?
Yeah.
Like, being
Efron's great.
raunchy,
Audition for
funny De Niro was
Oh, yeah?
fantastic.
What's that?
So now we know
I
where this is
auditioned
coming
for that
from.
shit.
Now we know where this.
For the Zac
De
Efron
Niro-
role?
Yeah.
Bro, you ain't got the abs, fam.
There's no,
You ain't got the abs, fam.
you don't
Bro, you
not
give me 2 weeks.
have
I
the
got
abs.
Are you kidding me? No falafel?
Bro.
Good, bro. That's light work. You don't know how the game works.
So wait a minute, you really auditioned for it?
Jack, please explain how the game works.
Yeah, he auditioned for it.
This is how the
That's-
game
that's
works.
it? That's
For
it?
Efron's role.
They give.
Wait, wasn't Homeboy from? Like,
y'all let me know
Workaholics
when
in
you
that?
want me to explain how it works.
I'm ready.
They offer every white role to Efron first.
As they should.
Efron says no. Okay? Then they offer it to who's number 2?
Oh man, in that position.
Miles Teller.
Oh, I was gonna say Miles Teller.
or whatever.
Yeah, but he's not.
It's a little different. I'm just giving an arbitrary
Yeah, yeah,
example.
yeah,
Like,
yeah.
what's his Michael B. Jordan gets every
Yeah.
young
Channing
black
Tatum.
offer, right?
Yeah.
After Michael B. Jordan, it goes to Next, young Jaden Smith. I don't
There's
know.
literally
next
just
young
a
guy.
list. There's actually a list, like top 10. Boom. Go
Like,
down.
well,
I
we
saw
did-
Entourage. I get it.
When we did Benders, right?
Yeah.
There was a list. I'm way down on the list.
But you're on
they
the
got
list.
a list of all the people, and I was just like, what can we afford? Not Zach.
We were never looking at Zach.
Schultzy. He's in the budget. So a lot of getting a movie, like for example, Will Smith is offered The Matrix. He says no. Somebody else probably said no. Another person probably said no. And
Yeah, we
then
know that happens. I get that.
Keanu,
Yeah.
Okay, so that's when you're like, oh my
Well,
god,
and-
you
and-
auditioned for it. It's you gotta try people out because you're gonna get no's from the big guys. Leo gets or what is it? Chris Rock said Tom Hanks gets offered to host the Oscars every year,
I'm sure there's a bunch of people that do, yeah.
and he's just like, no.
Yeah, but it's also directly related to like box office sales. So like you look at Will Smith, isn't Will Smith still have the
I think so.
greatest box office for one actor of all his movies?
I think so.
It's
But
like
I think
2
Rock
billion
is
or
coming
something?
close. The Rock or Dwayne
The Rock's
Johnson
up
is
there,
coming close.
but basically that you're just looking at reliable bankability for
Sure.
whatever
Yeah.
you're.
It's an
So
investment.
yeah, that's at the big level of just the Hollywood system. But where the fuck were we going with all this?
I don't know, but I'm
all-
offended. He thinks I couldn't beat out Efron for a role. Efron can't do comedy, bro.
He did comedy well.
did comedy
I
well,
actually thought he
actually.
did really well.
Cut
But
the
it wasn't about
mics off,
it wasn't
Alex.
about
Yo,
that.
he did
It
pretty
wasn't
good
about
in,
that.
in
This
the Seth
the
Rogen
role
one,
needed
Neighbors.
the role needed abs. I'm just kidding.
Yo. He meant that shit too.
Dude, this guy looks like a sweet
yeah,
potato.
yeah,
And he's talking about my fucking body, bro. Dude, I got 4 abs right now, dude. Are you kidding me? We could
got
deep
one
fry this
ab?
guy in a fucking heartbeat.
I wouldn't go for Efron's role.
Dude, this guy hadn't eaten for 30 days during
That's cool.
Ramadan. Gained weight. He put on fucking 20 pounds during a starvation period.
That's why I go for like
Damn.
Cedric the Entertainer role. You know what I mean? That's the role I'm going for.
Oh man.
Dude, I'll get you fucking abs, bro.
Okay.
2 weeks I got abs.
Yeah.
Just the bottom ones don't go there. The
Alright.
top ones are there.
I want to try some abs. I've never had abs.
I want to try some.
I'd like to try to test some
Dude,
abs.
that's light work abs. That's nothing.
Those are tight work abs.
Who?
I would say.
Is it
Efron.
Efron? I'm not
Efron?
doing that. That's
No,
like
that's another
it's
level,
not even
man.
worth it. But it's,
He's got insurance on those abs. Those are like
You think
their
so?
own fucking-
Probably. His body's insured. That's
So-
good money.
Anyway,
Let's go back. to the
fucking
show.
back
Okay,
to
back to
what we're talking about.
Russ.
So let's look at the season as a whole. How do we think it was compared to season 1? What do we think after we see the end game? Where do we think it's going?
I want a little bit more of a conclude. Like I want some kind of closure. Like I just gave you 15 hours of my life.
Yeah.
I want a little bit more of a bow at the end, and I feel like instead of tying the shoe, you just rip the laces out of the shoe. Now there's nothing holding my foot in it. Like I have no clue where the show's going, what's gonna happen.
So going into tonight's episode, I was like, man, I don't know what they're gonna do for next season. Right? Like I don't see next season
Sure.
being like them how they could pivot, right? And they completely pivoted to it's like, oh, okay, I'm interested in next season. So I was happy for that to not get the bow, to get a interest into next season. Because going in tonight, I wasn't sure I'd have an interest into next season.
We had to get out of this fucking park.
Well,
Had to get out of that fucking park, but it seems like they can go back to that park. They could just run
Real
back the
quick.
same shit with another William fucking.
So why
Run
why
it
are
back.
some AIs okay in the real world and some not?
What do you mean?
Like Shorty's all right in the real world now.
Who?
Dolores, right?
What do you mean? All right.
She's not breaking down. Remember earlier in the season, what
Yeah,
happens
yeah.
is when you take the AIs and you put them in a real world, they start repeating certain
but
things. Not
we know that was
realizing
that was
they
X
repeated
but
amount
that
of years
was
in the
fucking-
past.
that was way in the
30
beginning.
years ago.
But we can't recreate Delos. The whole issue was he's fine in the park, and then you take Delos out the park.
But
and
that was
then-
real consciousness they were trying to.
so you can
recreate.
because real consciousness
can
is actually
recycle-
shittier.
Yeah.
That's right. That was the
Yeah,
argument
yeah,
they were
yeah.
trying to make. Like humans have imperfections, and they were working so hard to like make these robots imperfect. And it's like, why? No,
Why?
we're better. We
Yeah.
can make changes. Okay, fine. Fair enough. So then they're totally fine and totally comfortable in this world.
Yes, seemingly. My whole thing about the season was, and I was waiting until the last episode to put a fucking pin in this, but like, my whole worry was it would fall into the same problem that Lost ended up having, which is like too many questions, not enough answers. And season 1 did a good job of the show of kind of just having the right mix. Like by the end of the finale of season 1, I was like, all right, you know what? That kind of capped up everything that I had questions about, and also was really intriguing going forward. Like Ford got killed, and there's a fucking rebellion, and like Ed Harris is smiling because the game's on, and like that was awesome. Now that we see what the game was, it's like I'm not sure if I was entirely impressed or satisfied. Also, I didn't see the fucking first half hour. I don't even know if I'm going to now. Like the idea of just seeing these people like jumping into Eden, like the fact that there's even an Eden that we're talking about in Eden.
No, it was
I'm
a
like, what the fuck is
90-minute
this shit?
episode. We explained it to you in 5 minutes.
Yeah. There's a little more probably.
So
No. I'm saying like it was unnecessary to have a 90-minute episode. It was stupid. Like a lot of this was a waste of time.
a lot of the season, but there's
I
also
will give him credit for this. Season 1, by like episode 3 or 4, the ending was theorized on the internet absolutely 100% correct.
Do you think that
I didn't see one theory that this shit was happening.
So do you think that the reason why this season suffered, if that's what we're agreeing
One
on,
of you guys called Tessa being Tessa Thompson being. I think it was you. You called her being an AI.
yeah, but I didn't know she was gonna be Dolores.
You said it was going to be his daughter.
I said it was going to be the
You
daughter.
said it was gonna be
I
the
said I
daughter.
saw that theory.
Here's another question: Was it confirmed as to?
Can we shout out what happened? Because you're shitting on my abs. Can we talk about Hani? When we-
Oh man!
when we
I
got
don't
in the
know,
car.
Awkwardness.
Wait. First off, I have a beginning part of this story. So I showed up early. You guys were up here ready. Haney's in the car. I hear him listening to podcasts. I go, and I kind of heard that it was like about Westworld. I was like, "What are you listening to, man?" He's like, "Oh, just Ringer."
Kendrick.
He just goes Ringer, the Ringer, and just turns it off. And I was like, "All right, man."
Yo,
Let me go back upstairs.
bleep that shit out, Alex. You get no free press.
So we go upstairs, get back in the car.
So
whatever.
we finish the podcast episode, right? We get back in the car, right? Turn the car on, fucking
And
blasting.
we have the small talk.
We have- oh yeah,
No one really acknowledges it at first.
Yeah, but
It's because it took
full
a minute
volume.
for the Bluetooth
full volume,
to
and then we
kick
hear
in.
like Dolores walks through the bar.
It's true. The Bluetooth doesn't kick in right away, right? So once the Bluetooth kicks in, it's like fucking max 35 volume. It's just some going. Well, I think what will happen in the
And
Japanese world.
scrambling.
He's like,
Takes
scrambling
both
because of the
hands off the
volume.
wheel. No hands on the wheel right now. Okay, we're driving straight into a fucking. About
to go in the water.
I know, right into the fucking river. He doesn't care.
Banging his fist up against the radio.
Not even looking for the.
Yo, Andy, it's not that serious. His fist goes right through the fucking radio.
Oh, his hot
Bro,
takes.
it's,
He thought he brought the hottest of hot takes to the episode. We're all thinking like, damn, Haney really killed it last week, bro.
Yo,
Where's this guy
For
getting
the
this
record,
shit from?
I always say I read this or I heard this.
No, you do good research.
I always say I read this or I heard this, and then I say what's actually my. I actually like differentiate between what I've heard and what I'm actually thinking.
No, yeah, that's
I actually say that.
Yo, but we
That
did
for
shit
this
was
specific
so
reason.
funny,
we
dude.
did get to the red light, and no one talked, but we all knew what went down.
And then Mark
we all just looked
nowhere
around.
Mark out of nowhere goes, dude, it's like seeing tranny porn on your friend's phone. We're like, what? Where? That's a specific reference.
You've been through that situation before, weirdly.
Maybe
When
with
did
me.
that
I don't know.
happen? Spain.
So anyway,
But yeah, man, I just felt like season 1 was better. I didn't like season 2.
I like season 1 much better.
Here's the
much
thing, though.
better.
Yo, I like season 2 way better.
Really,
Oh.
Way better.
really,
Yep.
Why?
hold on.
Go. Give me your why.
Yeah.
Yeah.
and tell us why you thought it.
Yeah,
not the Ringer.
not when we go into the car later today. Well, the thing about season 2 over season 1 is if you add different cultures, it really creates a welcoming environment for everybody.
So
And he's just been recoded by the Ringer. He's
I
just-
like that it took you out of the park world this year. You had
Uh.
the flashback episode to like where it looked like this season actually ended.
Yeah.
I just like the storylines better, and maybe it was the fact that all the theories weren't out there like that, weren't as accurate this time.
Yeah.
Where before, like, you would really see it, like, oh, that makes sense, and then like 2 episodes later, you're like, oh yeah, that was it. It wasn't a shocker.
Yeah.
Everything like when Tessa Thompson when he flipped and like she was Dolores, I was like, oh shit, like that's a genuine moment.
Yeah.
I had more of those this moment. What was the episode? A few episodes ago, I go like that was the best episode of the whole
Oh,
series.
the Akedacha.
No, not that one. The one before it. I was like, that's the best episode of the whole series so far.
there was like a lot of fight scenes.
Oh no, the Delos episode, right? Where we see the whole
No, it was the fight scenes.
Between Delos and Akachi.
Akedacha. Let me ask you this.
Mm-hmm.
You know, you just pointed the fact out that season 1 Reddit called it pretty early on. Obviously, the showrunners were like, "All right, we can't do anything about it. We got to keep going." Do you think that the reason why season 2 suffered, at least we think it suffered, is because they were intentionally avoiding having people predict it, and they just went too far into the realm of like unpredictability and making it therefore less sound?
I absolutely think that. I don't look at Reddit or listen to any of the other podcasts or anything about it. Like, I don't want to know. I don't do it for Game of Thrones. I don't do it for anything. I want to experience that surprise every single time.
Yes.
And I think it makes it much more enjoyable. And to exactly what you said, the first season was just enough for me because I wasn't looking for the predictions.
Right.
And this one, because it was trying to outsmart like the Redditors.
Yeah.
It's like, you ever have like a comedian does jokes that only makes comedians laugh?
Yeah.
And I feel like this is what this season was. It was like, yeah, maybe the Redditors and like you.
This
you're
season was
really into it.
the drama's drama. This wasn't the like a comics comic.
Yeah,
This wasn't-
exactly. It was like that. What is that movie that Seth Rogen and them remade?
This is the end.
No, they remade it like.
Oh,
it was
The
a
Room.
weirdo- The Room. It was or like Pootie Tang, like these movies that like most people watch.
Oh,
And
yeah,
like, this
yeah,
sucks,
yeah, yeah.
but like insiders watch
Sure,
it and they're
they
like,
like
oh,
it.
this
Yeah.
is really
Yeah,
cool.
yeah.
So this was too much for me. I like a little bit more simple. I'll be honest with you. This isn't me.
I don't even think this was particularly well executed. I think that the show, season 1, had, similar to what you said, like just enough. You had 2 big reveals, Bernard being AI, and then you had obviously the whole William timeline.
Yep,
right?
Black
Those
Hat,
were the
yeah.
big
Black Hat.
2 things, and then obviously you had the conclusion. And then you
Great
went to second
final fucking.
Right?
Season 1 I loved. Yeah,
Right.
loved. Yeah.
So this, after watching the whole season, I don't understand at all the point of the multiple timelines. Like, did that serve any purpose whatsoever other than just being remarkably confusing?
The only purpose that I'm saying I think it served is to detract Redditors from coming up with the plot before the plot actually.
So if that is why they did
I
it,
actually believe
then it
that
is
that's
actually pretty effective.
Well, because no one knows what the fuck's going on.
That's actually a really damn.
Like, they were
Jack.
literally just trying to throw
Fuck.
people off the track. Like literally, they were just trying to.
And it
fucking-
worked. I'm not mad at
That's
that.
the whole
though.
reason
Yeah,
why.
but it made
Think
it
about
less
it. Did
interesting
it have
for
to
me.
be? Did it have to be
I
that
think
way?
it's a great point. It didn't have to at all. I don't think it served anything. Like,
Right. It didn't.
The story could have been told in a way more linear way, while still having some of the non-linear elements, like the flashbacks way back to like the original.
the
Dolores
big
and all that
reveal
shit.
should have been Black Hat being an AI. That should have been.
That
This
shouldn't be a
season's
hidden.
big reveal.
That shouldn't be a
And you
hidden
could've
thing
done
at
it-
the end of the credits that half the people probably didn't even see.
You could have done it
Yeah.
in chronological order too, and saved a lot of time probably.
And
Well,
another big
I'll say this. I'll say this.
Sandy
Well, the
Newton.
Nolan brothers don't do anything chronologically. It's all
Yo,
about.
you asked.
Fair.
You asked if them trying to avoid the Reddit theories getting out there affect the writing. Yes, it did, because tonight's episode, the last 2 episodes, right, had 80% of all the important information in it. That should have been like scattered out throughout the season.
All the reveals happen in the last 2 episodes. That's a great point. If you put them in the middle, then we're going to predict what happens. So they basically stuffed everything in the last 2 episodes, and that's why the middle was so boring. That's why we're in Japan and fucking Bengal.
Yeah,
Bengali?
and look.
Bangladesh?
There were parts of this
Yeah,
season that I really
Bangladesh.
enjoy.
Bangladesh.
I came to the realization that like I just love watching Ed Harris. Like
Dude.
I watched Truman Show yesterday, and I was like, I think I just like Westworld because I like Ed Harris. But anyway,
Him and what's his face and Hopkins.
oh,
It's
Hopkins
great that he
is
gets-
fucking
look at.
incredible.
It's great that he gets like a late career, like kind of
Boost.
somewhat like memorable character.
Yeah.
Like Black Hat will be like a memorable
Yeah.
character.
But
Real quick, has
There were-
anybody made a meme of the fucking tic-tac-toe board on Anthony Hopkins' forehead? Have you not seen these wrinkles that are
scars?
perfect? No, it's not even scars, it's just wrinkles. Perfect tic-tac-toe.
oh, I thought it
board.
was. I thought he has like one big scar going down his face, right? Or is that in real life, or is
That's
that the
wrinkle,
character?
Dog. That's wrinkle.
That's wrinkle.
Yeah, that's acting, dude. That's fucking facial expressions. That's getting in a character. Something Zac
Wow.
Efron couldn't do.
Oh, he does. He has method
Yo,
wrinkles.
how about another reveal was when they were like, the hat was the brain scanner.
That was kind of
oh.
corny.
Yeah, what the fuck?
was
What
easy.
the fuck
Too
was
easy.
that? That was sucked in the last episode when the daughter puts
But
on the
that's
hat
just like
and he's
that's
like,
just like a
and she's
sprinkle that they're
like-
throwing in amongst all these other things. Oh, you thought that was corny?
That just makes
It's
no
too
sense.
easy.
It's just
It's
stupid.
too
easy.
easy. It's like
Like, the hat. Oh, that's how you got my consciousness. This fucking hat.
And here's
Like,
the thing.
What?
Here's
I would
what-
like to go back and watch the scene where William and Logan first show up to the park and they're
They put it on
changing and they're like, "Would you want?" Like, did
There was a scene like that with the hat.
I know? And they're
They
like
didn't know
white
that
hat
then.
or black hat. Like that was the thing. But like, was he? They should have been like, he's like, "No, I don't want the hat," and they were like, "Yo, take the fucking hat and
Yeah,
put it on."
but what about in Japantown where it's not that? They don't wear hats. Nobody
Yeah.
was wearing hats.
Yeah.
And same thing in Bangladesh.
It was stupid.
Here's the
It's a
thing.
dumb thing.
It was
Yeah.
a dumb thing.
I think Westworld
That's why they
showed
sprinkled it.
there was a few like
They'll
signs
pass
of
over
brilliance
it.
in this season, particularly the Akedacha episode, the Ghost Nation.
Yeah.
That was really great.
That's what makes it so frustrating.
But I got to a point where I've been like defending the show to people who were like, "Yo, man, I gave up on Westworld like halfway through the season," and I'm like, "You got to stick with it." And now it's like I kind of get it. I kind of get that you would just get fed up.
I
With it.
think season 3, they're going right back to the way they did season 1. I think they're not going to play to these Redditors. I think they go right back. Let's think about the reveals that we could have had, right? What do you need? 3 for a season? That's good. What's his face is an AI, and they're just going through the same thing as Delos. Fandy Newton is also an AI that was recreated, right? And
That's
one
not.
other.
How's that a
Wait.
reveal?
we knew
That's-
that. We knew that from the beginning.
No, not Fandy Newton. Tessa Thompson.
Oh, okay.
Tessa Thompson is also.
That's a reveal, yeah.
And then maybe one more big one. Right? You don't need that much.
Yeah.
Why am I finding this all out in the last?
There was
90
a
minutes?
huge build-up to get these people to walk through 2 mountain openings in the middle of
Fucking
the
portal.
desert.
That
Like,
was
the fact that
stupid.
we
By the way,
literally took
that's stupid.
10
The fact that we-
episodes to get them to that one spot.
Yeah.
Literally,
Did they explain how that portal was opened?
I mean, bro, how deep you want to get into it?
What do you mean? Was there any explanation
To what?
There's just some like technology
to
shit.
how the
Who
host
turned it on?
Eden- Yeah. No, not who. Just no. Never mind. Just forget
Here's the thing, though.
Just forget it.
Son, if I had that answer, I mean, I wouldn't be sitting with you guys. I'll tell you that right now.
The fact that we're talking about a portal, like
That's what I'm
I
saying.
remember saying
that was
like
a
2
real
weeks ago, I was
cheesy
like, I just hope
cop-out.
that this door that they're talking about isn't a fucking portal. like literally, like I don't want it to be like Lost where they just end
Well,
up. in
not the question, but that was to just put all the AIs to bed, right? The real question was how is Dolores going to get out of Westworld? The way they answered that was the big reveal. That was the Tessa Thompson thing.
Correct.
That was extremely well done.
Yeah, that was cool.
That was dope.
That was cool.
I mean, that's the final episode.
That's the final episode.
Yeah, we should learn we should learn maybe 2 or 3 episodes earlier about Black Hat. And then the final episode is how does she get off? And that's the big way of getting off. We find out that they switch. Boom, that's perfect.
That should have been
Penultimate.
That should have been episode 9, with tonight's episode being them like the scene that what I thought was the last scene, right? And then the Ed Harris thing. Like that should have been like the cliffhanger. Like, oh shit. But all the wild shit, the Tessa Thompson shit, that should have been last episode 9.
You could have made this season 6 episodes easy.
Yes.
Easily.
Cut out
they wouldn't do that.
everything in
HBO needs to drag it
Japan,
out.
Cut out everything in.
Why do they need
But
to drag it out, though?
they needed the Bengal just to introduce the daughter.
But introduce her in another way.
They
Have a
gotta do 10
buffalo.
episodes.
Have a horse. Have her
But still,
just say hi.
it's still a block of time that they have to use to introduce the daughter.
I think it's to your point about the Redditors. I really think that they're.
I just
writing-
think it
For
comes
sure.
down
The
to
way they
that.
structured the season was definitely to combat.
Yeah, and
theories,
it suffered. It suffered
yeah.
because of that.
A lot of pointless stuff.
like I'm not hyped for season 3.
Well, here's the thing. Season 3 could be cool because if you look at what the setup is, yeah, we have some stuff happening on the island, but now we get to see the host in the real world, which is exciting to me. And we know that Ford's whole plan for this whole thing is to take down Delos, right? So we know that it could be like a corporate fucking like espionage. Like we got spies in the real world now.
So he wants to take down his own company, but he can't even get out of the park. He's locked in that room.
So this is the thing.
Yeah, but he's acting through these hosts.
So
now, right?
so
like
Ford,
they're an extension of him.
I was
Ford,
thinking
Ford.
William. Not
Yeah.
the
but no,
black guy.
Well,
that's
I don't
a
know.
good
William,
point.
now William's
How is William connected now to this other plot? That's what I don't understand.
How does he get out? He needs to get out of that fucking chamber, and there's no way they're going to get out because now they don't have funding anymore. They don't have the ability. They don't have the technology. The place is all broken down. So he
And
has.
he's got actually no idea that they exist as of right now,
That's right. He's completely lost.
right?
Because and whatever happens to him, his memory is wiped. He's going to go back to his original consciousness, how they found it.
Right.
We're gonna see a lot of flashbacks of
Yo, he might be done, dude. He might be out.
no. If he's out, I'm out.
He's not gonna be out. How's he gonna be out?
Well, how do you insert him back? How do you get him back
Well,
there?
no. Now he's in the what
Fidelity,
I'm
bro.
expecting will happen
But
with
he's
season
not
3
faithful.
is we're gonna be cutting between real world and
Fidelity doesn't mean like
on the island.
not like. What do you mean by he's not faithful? Faithful to what?
He's not faithful to the character. He isn't who that is. He isn't the person.
Yeah, but he hasn't been this entire time we've been watching him.
But he's fine in the world. When you go into the real world, that's why he stayed in Westworld for so long. We never saw him in non-Westworld.
We did last week.
I guess we saw him in those little events. And you think he was AI then? Even
it changes how we look at his whole fucking this whole series. We look at him.
Because he wasn't mumbling and stuttering when
Was
he
he
was talking to his wife.
was he mumbling and stuttering?
No,
In
but
this last scene, he was.
he had memory lapses also in this one, right? Like he didn't recognize Bernard as being Arnold when he first rolled up on him. Like this AI version of Ed Harris has issues remembering things of his previous consciousness.
What if it's just what?
right?
Okay.
When he was talking to the daughter one episode,
Yeah.
he said, what did he say? Like you hated something.
She was like,
Oh,
no,
shit.
mom
You
did,
hated the
no.
elephants, and she's like, no, mom hated the elephants, and he was like, and it was like, yeah, like he didn't remember it. And then when he saw Bernard in this episode, and like Dolores was like, you don't recognize him, and he was like, he looked and he was like, oh, it's Arnold.
Dude, how much?
Motherfucker bought the company. You don't remember what Arnold looked like?
Yo, son, think about how much more interesting would those little moments be if they weren't packed in this final episode where we're
Yeah.
trying
Too
to
much
solve-
shit, man. You can't
Son,
catch all of it.
If you,
Because
if
here's
you
the
give
thing.
us that in episode 6, if that's one of the big breakaways or breakthroughs,
There's too many things. It was
If that's one of the nuggets that you can try to pick up on and talk about.
and now you're like, oh shit!
Like,
Now
oh-
it's like, oh, that's right, he didn't remember this and the
But
spaghetti
that was 2 or 3 weeks ago that happened. Like
Right, but we would remember
it.
it if it was more laid out
linearly instead
So-
of this confusing
instead-
nonsense. Yeah.
The thing is, it's frustrating because they did a really good job. Like the first scene of the season was
kinda the
Bernard on the
last.
beach.
Yeah.
which
But
they
that's Nolan. That's
reenacted,
Nolan. He does that
right?
with everything.
Yeah.
Like they had
Yeah,
the
yeah,
bookends going, but then they just packed
He
everything at
bookended
the end.
perfectly. They just put it all at the end because they didn't want it to be spoiled. That's all it was.
They knew the exact story, and they were like, "All right, we have to push it back." That's
Give it to us in the middle, and if they ruin it, they fucking ruin it. But I think
just
the
don't
majority
get
of
off
people,
the internet and don't read that shit.
But yo, here's the thing. It's like when companies, fire somebody because like 10 people tweeted, right? The majority of people aren't on Twitter, and the majority of people don't
Reddit,
give a fuck,
yeah,
or Reddit,
yeah.
right? The majority of people watching the show have no fucking clue what these
Right.
shows
Yeah,
are,
yeah.
podcasts, or anything. So stop making it for the assholes that are gonna ruin it. Just make it for the average person.
But for some reason, a show like this, like Game of Thrones spoiler, like I don't want to know any Game of Thrones spoilers. Like
Right.
there's spoilers online right now for the last season.
Yeah.
I like go out of my way to avoid all that.
Yeah.
But for a show like this, that's all these like little nuggets, little details.
Well,
blah, blah,
because
blah,
you're
like, you know what I mean?
Here's the thing: you're trying to figure out what the fuck is going on, so you try to look for answers in that, just trying to decode what the fuck you're seeing, and then at the same time, that usually happens to be spoilers as well. You know what I
Jack,
mean?
question.
Yes.
The crews that make Game of Thrones, we're talking about hundreds of people,
We're
right?
talking about 3 separate full crews. We have a crew. There's a crew in I don't know. There's a crew in Croatia, King's Landing, in Ireland for
the North.
North.
Yep.
And Iceland or somewhere fucking icy for
The real
wall.
North, or for the wall.
Yeah.
Okay, so here's my question. You have hundreds of people in
Greenland.
each one of those crews, right?
Yeah.
How do they keep all this shit tight, man? How the fuck does nothing
Severe
get leaked?
NDAs.
There's gonna be there's
But
gonna
like
be
even okay, let's say I sign an NDA, you sign an NDA. We're out drinking. You're just drunk. Think about what we're willing to share when we get drunk, right?
Sure.
How does that never fucking? How does that nothing happen?
well, that's
You're-
why shit gets through the cracks. Like that's
That's
why
why
you
it's
hear about it all the
online.
time.
But is it? I
Like
haven't seen
before
anything
last
sign
season,
that.
they had drones flying over the shit, and they were like, "Yo, there's Jon Snow, there's Khaleesi, they're meeting up in this season." Like that was known before last season
Yo.
because they have
Oh,
fucking
I didn't know that.
drones.
You know what they
and
did
they have
last
pictures,
season?
and you just like, I was like, "Yo, I avoided it."
You know what they did last season? They shot a whole scene with the Red Witch and Varys or someone else that never actually aired in the show because they were just trying to
Misdirection.
throw off
Trying
the
to throw people off. That's
So
brilliant.
they just wrote like bullshit scenes. You know what I mean? That would just throw people off. And I think that's what they do for the Marvel shit too. But I don't know. Like right now, Marvel's getting in the same territory where like if you see an actor on the set, you're like, oh, he died in Infinity War, but now
Why is
he's
he still
somewhere.
there?
Yeah. So they misdirect a lot.
Internet's the worst.
It really is. Don't give
So
me
they
too
got
much.
they got people at the airports in these
Yeah.
cities, just like, oh, the guys who just landed. Oh, that means that their character is going to be in this storyline. They're usually not in this storyline. Oh shit! Then they start fucking piecing shit together at the fucking airport, fam.
He's tight.
It's wild. Like,
Yeah.
by the way, shout out to Jon Snow and
Yo, got married
Ygritte.
yesterday.
They got married
in real
this
life.
weekend.
Shouts to Egret for coming up.
Yo,
Yep.
she's like some
Jon
kind of
Snow looked
royalty.
a little heavy. I
You
thought.
see that?
His
Yeah, but
wedding
still,
photo.
Egret,
was-
dude.
What'd you say?
She lives in like a castle, like an actual castle in real life, and her family's lived there for like 16.
So she comes from one.
Oh, so
Yeah.
Jon Snow
Shout
came
out
up.
to
She
Jon
comes
Snow.
from like
okay, Snow.
Jon Snow came
and then I
up.
looked it up.
Ginger
She comes
love.
from like House Leslie. I was like, House Leslie.
That makes sense.
Oh,
Like,
old money. This
Yeah,
old
old money. Yeah.
Okay.
So Jon Snow got married into that.
That incest
Yeah.
life. You know, all them English people are inbred, bro.
Yeah.
Like the royal English.
Just with their teeth fucked up.
That's
why
why.
that
That's why
whole-
their
that's-
whole face is.
How
fucked
you a
up.
prince and you got no hairline? You the king and you got no hairline?
That's why Markle's in there to kind of tear that shit up.
To like even things, they
Yeah,
have to
yeah.
get some new blood.
Yeah,
Like we need no relation whatsoever.
Yeah.
I got a question. If anyone can answer this one. I didn't understand the whole Logan thing tonight.
Oh, so what was the Logan thing? I was fast forwarding through. I saw him for a second. I was like, all right, I gotta ask about that.
That was the scene.
I saw Delos too for a second.
Yeah, so that's the scene that sets up the idea that no matter what you do to a human, they can't change. So they went through 18 million different variations of Delos's life, and every single time the simulation came back to this moment where he basically his son needs him, and he turns his back on his son, and that sets this idea where where what happens with the robots? Oh, a robot, blah blah blah. What is a shorty? Dolores needs Bernard. She could have let Bernard die,
But she knows she needs him.
but she knows she needs him, or he needs her.
She life proofs herself. I get this
Well,
one.
no, but he also needs her, right?
Right.
He needed her to get him off the island.
Right.
He needed her to survive, and she did the non-human thing, which was, hey, I'm going to give you life. So, and I think that's where they're like, oh, shit, that's the difference between the two of us. We can change, you can't change. Though that Teddy shit throws a wrench in that whole thing. I think the Teddy thing is going to come back. I think we revert back to our humanity or our core belief or whatever that shit was, right? Like, what did the human guy say at the end? That's my core initiative.
What I thought was interesting about that is I think it was supposed to be the takeaway of that is he's human, but he's programmed like a host. Like Ford had the same effect on him that he had on the people that he actually wrote code into.
Yeah.
Or that's why Ford probably selected him for that job.
Yes.
Right.
And there was something with Ford and Maeve. Did you guys know that they had that
Well,
deep a connection?
last episode when he said you were my favorite.
I mean, that kind of
So
that kind of tipped it.
No, before that, I had no clue.
No, there was
that
no real prior existing relationship to suggest that was the case.
And then all of a sudden, that's his baby. That's his.
Didn't make
Well, 'cause
sense.
she's
so
the most
weird.
special. She's the most powerful out of all the hosts.
But
I mean, so
you
was
would-
Dolores.
exactly. There was a relationship with Dolores and Ford, and you could kind of see
And
some
she
of
had
that.
to earn that power. She had to kill dudes, and she had to get them
She
to like
did.
adjust
She
the
did that herself.
computer thing.
Yeah.
Yeah, it was like I was weirdly thrown in. I didn't get that at all.
It was goofy. It was goofy when they were in that scene with Logan and like they go to that library and like Dolores is like thumbing through books and it's like not a real library.
Oh,
Like,
yeah.
I don't know
well,
why
it's
you do
everybody's consciousness, right?
Yeah,
It's every
what's
human's.
going on here?
That's her
By the
studying
way,
humans.
we thought it was hidden in her dad.
Right.
It was a whole fucking huge library, right?
Yeah, but it wasn't a real library. It's just data.
I just remember one more thing.
yeah.
When the worst Hemsworth, the third Hemsworth, is talking
Hemsworth.
to
Yeah.
Lessworth is talking to Hale, and she's about to leave. Also, really Dolores, right?
Yep.
He said to her, "Your dad." Did you hear that? He said, "Your dad told me years ago that you were going to do this." Who's her dad?
I don't remember that.
Is he talking to Dolores or is he talking to?
Oh, well, we thought that the
Ford. He sees them and it's his
no,
children.
but didn't you have the theory that she was
He did.
actually
He did.
Arnold's daughter?
Yeah, that's why
No,
I
but
was like,
he-
"Oh, was that a reveal that I didn't see?"
No, but he knows that it's Dolores. He's aware.
So he's referring to Ford as the dad.
I think, and then Ford was like, "It's so hard to see your children die." Remember, Ford has that line where he's talking about Maeve. So I think he sees them as his children. He had the God complex, and now he ends up being a good guy. He's like, "Listen, I wanted to give you guys a fair shot at life,
Okay.
right?" Because Delos changed the idea of this park.
I don't think my perception that Ford's like a good guy. Like all
No,
this
he's
was
not.
good.
No.
This
I
is
think
like
he's
fucked up
good.
shit.
No, he's a terrible person.
Mad people died.
Trying to destroy humanity.
He's the ultimate
No,
villain.
because he sees. I think he sees the flaw in humanity, right? He sees humanity. He sees humans as people who can't.
That doesn't give you the right to fucking send people to kill us all.
I would agree with Hani in this situation.
Ultimately he had a
Hold on.
Son, go join ISIS.
Yo,
fam.
he
That's
has
exactly what they're
Ford
doing.
has a God
Go join
complex.
ISIS.
He's a God
That's
complex,
what they're
and he's
doing.
been driven
do you mean?
insane by
They're
it.
seeing
And now
that
he's
they're looking at
yeah.
the flaws in the West and being like, yo, we're gonna make motherfuckers go destroy them.
Right.
That's what ISIS is.
Good call.
Right. But,
So, like,
and
Ford
if you
is-
ask them if they're right, they'd be like, yeah, we're absolutely right. Everybody else is a piece of shit, and they're
But
going
you
to
said
hell.
that
from
about anyone.
But from an objective standpoint, you're like, yeah, that's fucked up, and that's what
It's not
Ford's
a,
doing.
the objective standpoint is just the standpoint of the people that they're trying to kill. That's not an objective place, right? It's
Someone
like,
in Japan's probably looking at them like, oh, they're kind of fucked up.
how about this? If they're right about God, then who's wrong?
What do you mean?
Ford is God.
No, but Ford's
see,
not
Ford-
God.
no, Ford's
That's
not
the
God.
problem.
Ford's not
Ford
God.
thinks
Ford
he's
thinks
God.
he's God, but
Exactly.
that's
That's
his
why
flaw.
he's the
That's the
villain.
problem.
Right? So Ford thinks he's God, right? Because he's created life in a different way, right? And this whole show is really testing the limits of what life is, right? So, like, for example, I do not think that ISIS is right about God, but if ISIS is right about God, you know what I mean? Then that's their shit.
No, because they're misinterpreting something that's already like.
Fam, if God comes down and he's like, nah, to be honest, that they got it, you know, throw the gay guys off the buildings. Right? Like, if God comes down, that's what he's like, you know what I mean? Like,
I guess in that situation, you would
you see
be
what I'm
correct.
saying? Like,
And
this
then-
is all that. Now, listen, I don't think any of us here believe that that's what God intends on having
But God
happen.
doesn't say, oh, if someone's doing something wrong, you kill them. That's the
Correct.
bottom line.
Yeah, but you don't know God. You know what I'm saying? We don't know
But
God.
no one knows God.
Ford is God. Ford has created life. He is truly God, and he sees his life form as the next life form that will rule the world.
So
he's
I'd
like,
prefer to root against him.
me too.
If you're okay with
Hashtag.
that. You just said he was a good guy.
You just said he was like the good guy. You were like, oh, yeah.
I'm saying he's a good guy in terms of who are we rooting for in this series, right? And I
Not
think
him.
Well, that's interesting about the series.
The series makes you feel compassionate towards the AI, right? The whole thing is about how they're victimized, abused, they're raped, they're killed. They're just destroyed by humans.
Season
and
one.
humans, season 1 and season 2.
But now season 2, we're seeing that they're actually just superior and now they're scary as fuck because they're in
They're
the real
scary as
world.
fuck, but at the same time, they guilt you enough where they're like, oh, you're just going to rape us for fucking years and then think that we're not going to do nothing back? Right? They play with your emotions a little bit. You didn't
Well, this
feel
whole show.
You didn't feel no compassion whatsoever for the AI?
Zero.
Wow.
Maeve, I felt compassion for Maeve.
Because she showed compassion for humans.
Fair.
She showed compassion, and she just won her daughter. She
And,
had
like, yeah, her objective wasn't to, like,
And she's got a great
Yeah.
rack. So let's just be,
there you go. Way to bring it back shallow.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But anyway.
Yeah, let's be shallow. What are we, fucking The Ringer? This is Westerbros.
Yo, was that Tessa Thompson's real ass or a body double?
Body ass, because she was in the shadow the whole time. That
The
means
front
that-
part was awkward too.
But I thought maybe she just wanted to show ass.
No, it was double.
Yeah, and yeah, nice little high back.
They brought in an ass host for that one.
Yeah.
Oh, absolutely.
As a host.
Yeah. But yeah, and I thought Tessa Thompson's body was actually a little slimmer than the thing that they used.
You mean the
Tessa's
double?
real body is slimmer than the double. Like Tessa specifically.
But didn't she
asked,
show her ass in season 1?
Yeah, I think that was a double too now in hindsight.
Do you get to choose your double?
I'm sure you got to get a vote.
That's a good question.
Yo, I think if you're Tessa Thompson level, she's not that level yet where she could choose her double.
I think she's at.
I
the
think
double.
Tessa
I think
Thompson's
Khaleesi-
the biggest star on the show.
I think
other
Khaleesi's
than
choosing
Ed
her
Harris.
double. I don't think Tessa Thompson's choosing
Jeffrey
her double
Wright's a
yet.
bigger
Wait a
star.
minute.
Who's Jeffrey
Khaleesi
Wright?
was showing her
Huh?
own tits.
No, I know until a certain
Who's
point.
Jeffrey
and
Wright?
now
He's
she-
Bernard.
Fair enough.
Oh yeah, you're right.
Yo, there's a listen. Yes, Tessa Thompson's
Some would
big
argue
enough to
that
ask.
Dolores.
I would
Sure.
say she's big enough to get an ass vote.
Yeah.
I would
Of
say.
course.
A vote, at least a vote.
They're
You think
clearly
Ace-
banking on her. I mean, if we learn a takeaway from this last episode is that they're like, we want Tessa Thompson over.
Yo, for a
Danny
minute, I
Newton.
thought we'd never see Dolores' face again,
That'd be crazy.
and Tessa Thompson would just be the face of the show going
I
forward.
did not see.
And I was like, yo, I'm pretty into this.
Yo, so hold
Yeah.
on. So go back to that for a second. So now we're gonna have two Dolores
That's
at
what I'm
all
wondering.
times.
Well, you're
No.
saying that Hale is Hale, but how is she Hale?
No, so in my personal opinion, I think they just recreated the next body, took out the consciousness, put it in there, and then put the correct consciousness back in Hale.
Why the fuck would they do that?
So that you can have your own body back, bro. Don't you want your body?
Yo, but she didn't have.
Bro,
She, no,
like,
no, no,
you know what I
no.
mean, dude?
Wait,
I
she
know you
wasn't
said
a
that.
host.
Say what?
Don't
She
you want
wasn't
your
a host.
body?
Like
Who?
when she got. Tessa
Wouldn't you want
Thompson,
Zac
Hale.
Efron's body?
Hale's like.
I have a way better
Don't we
body
all?
than Zac Efron. Too lean.
Okay.
All right.
What, bro? What?
No, but Hale was a human being who got murked.
Yeah?
Yeah.
She didn't have like a ball.
Yeah.
No, she got killed. Hale's dead.
Yeah, but they have her consciousness.
How do they have her?
But
conscious?
why would
Because
they?
the park is all about collecting everything.
But what do they want with her consciousness? Why do they want her back?
So we just have two.
Yeah, they don't want her.
Oh, so we just have two Dolores. So
That's what I-
Dolores.
Dolores, if you will.
We have two Dolores.
Yes. We currently
That
have
has
two
to be
Dolores.
someone else.
We're potentially in cahoots.
Why did they show her?
Cahoots.
She had to take the. She had to.
This fucking stupid accent.
Yo, how many confused Bernard faces? did
How
we
many
get on this
cahoots are in a
episode,
coconut? Sorry, what?
though? How many confused Bernard faces did we get?
Oh,
this
oh,
episode?
that's my other question. Did they ever wrap up the how many Bernards there are and what Bernards we were
Infinite
seeing?
Bernards.
Infinite Bernards.
Infinite Bernards.
They said that in this episode?
No, we've seen like we saw like 15.
We
of
saw
them
4 in a
couple
room.
Episodes. Yeah, ago. But you can make as many Bernards as you want because you just have the consciousness. Boom.
That's
pass
gonna
it
be
on.
such a good meme though. When he was like, "Do any of us have free will? Is this a sick joke?" Like that whole scene. I
What's
found
the
that
meme?
I found that funny. Because you gotta pair it with his like confused face.
Look, man, it's you know
Nah,
what I mean.
man.
Listen,
I
memes
wanna-
are hard,
I
bro.
wanna
No,
get
you know
back-
what I mean.
No.
Listen, you're older, bro.
You trying to get in the
memes
meme
are
game?
for the kids, dog. Like, if I were you, man, I know you're talking to a lot of younger girls and they send you memes because they don't know how to converse. But like, if I'm you, dog, you know what I would
Stay away
do?
from the memes, bro.
Stay away from the memes. Stick to the pastel hoodies. And I think you really got it.
Yo, he's
going
almost a meme actually right now.
on. Dude, he looks like Purple Kermit.
Next episode. Next episode.
Yo, she bounced with 5 conscious balls, or I'm guessing 5. It looked like 5.
Yeah.
Conscious balls.
They had to have used one of them to put in Hale's body. So
Didn't she have a Dolores one too?
Dolores is Dolores.
So
No,
you-
Dolores was what she was actually
Dolores
in her
is
head.
inside Hale.
It
So you
was,
just
was
gotta
inside Hale.
I thought she maybe had a backup Dolores.
Then they must have took it out
doubled it up.
and put it back. Do you think they replicated it?
She wanted
I
her
thought
body.
they destroyed
something
all.
else.
I thought they destroyed all the host backups.
Yo,
Here's the thing.
that's
at the
a
end-
really good question. And is that a fuck up or like that? I don't think they would have.
That might be a fuck up, yo.
That's a fuck up. That
At the end of the day, we're just talking about conscious balls and portals. Like, what the fuck is this show?
Yeah.
We're talking about conscious balls.
It's a huge leap of faith.
They jumped the shark. Is that
She
the right
left
term?
with a purse full of balls, and that's the future of the show.
Yeah. And we're not checking purses?
Well, I guess they need to create her because she's at the company still. Like she
Talking to
needs
the
to show.
fam.
She needs to show up to work. Hale needs to like.
Agree.
So
yeah,
they
yeah.
had to recreate her.
Yeah, I just.
And I guess using her yeah. But twist with a twist. All right, okay. I'm back in.
Guys, I don't know. Is
I don't
there
really love
anything
the
else?
show. I don't think.
Dude, I'm gonna give third season a shot,
Same.
but I was not a big fan of second at all.
Season 1, great. Season 2.
Can I be honest with you? Outside of Charlemagne's deal with HBO, not interested in anything they
Whoa.
have coming
I'm
up.
gonna watch.
Whoa, whoa, whoa.
Well, no, they got that. I'm watching
Whoa,
that
whoa,
Sharp
whoa, whoa.
Objects that's coming next week.
Whoa,
with,
What,
whoa,
that
whoa,
one
whoa,
with
whoa,
the
whoa.
broads?
with Amy Adams.
Why?
I don't know. She died.
What is it called?
Hang on.
Sharp,
Sharp
Objects?
Objects?
Can
What's
we
it
wait
about?
until Game of Thrones is done to
No
talk
idea.
about the future
Son,
of HBO?
Game of Thrones is a different thing, bro. I'm talking. That's not even on the lineup. That's just like a movie. That's like, yeah, obviously. Come on, we're into Thrones. I'm talking about the other. They got this show that's like their version of Billions.
Succession.
Succession.
Watch that. Literally the worst, the least likable characters ever in a TV show. in the history of television.
I've heard some good things about the show.
Yo, I heard
actually.
Succession was good. I haven't watched it either.
I watched
heard,
a little today.
I
I
heard
watched
it
it.
was.
I couldn't. I don't know who I'm supposed to be rooting for. I hate all the characters. I wanted to punch everyone in the face. Like I was like, what the fuck? Why am I
I
watching
tried
this?
to watch it a little bit today, and it was like, what is it? Macaulay Culkin's brother just doing a lot of like.
What is
weird
this
jokes.
Sharp Objects thing?
It's like some chicks.
Yo, it
It's
honestly
Gillian
looked-
Flynn, the
it
writer
look-
of
it
Gone
honestly-
It was a female ensemble cast, and Haney was like, "I'm in."
Yeah.
It looks like Amy
Ocean's
Adams.
8 for 13 episodes.
Nope.
Sign me up.
It looks like Amy Adams in a True Detective type thing, but she's not a detective.
Yeah, I'm good. So I'm good.
There's some weird.
Yeah.
Amy Adams goes. Some,
Great pitch, bro. That
Amy
was a
Adams
great
goes home to
pitch.
some creepy town. There's some
Yeah.
weird shit going on.
Right.
Whatever.
Yeah, hot. Anyway, so what else is we got? So we got Succession, trash Amy Adams show. What else?
What do they got?
Honestly,
I really like Amy Adams, so I hope it's good.
I haven't seen.
But I'm not dying to see it.
Or
I'm not like,
heard
oh my god,
about
this
any
looks so
True
great.
crazy-
Detective 3's coming out.
Well, here's the thing. Here's the
With-
True
thing.
Detective
We know
2 sucked though.
Dude, two is
Two
so
is
bad.
terrible.
but they took a long time. Who they got? They got Mahershala Ali.
Mahershala
him.
Ali, who's
I like
great,
him.
and
And
we
who-
got
Who the
it's like an
fuck
odd
is
couple pairing.
It was a girl.
Was it?
It was a female.
That makes sense.
Was it Tessa
Gotta
Thompson?
be.
That wouldn't be an odd couple pairing.
Anyway,
But here's the thing.
yeah.
We know that HBO is locked in on like 5 prequels for Game of Thrones, so that's why I'm saying the future of HBO still is Game
Developing 5.
of Thrones. Yes.
They-
Oh, and one
they'll
of the
probably
plots
do
came out.
1 or 2.
one of the timelines and plots came out,
Oh, really?
and it was like super far back. It wasn't
It's
like
before. It's
it was like
it's
it
about the
wasn't
first
like
war.
the rebellion of the Mad King or like
Yeah.
Lyanna Stark and the Targaryen bro. Like it was.
Take it all the way back, baby.
It
Yeah,
was
go
like
from the
all the way
it was
back.
all the way back.
Hell
I'm into
yeah.
that.
Here's the thing, though. Here's what I'll say about HBO.
I think it's gonna be disappointing.
They have done a great job. Like the fact that we don't know what's next means that there's probably going to be a good show coming along that we don't even like. It's just going to air, and we're going to be like, "Yo, this show's fire." The same
Yeah.
way like True Detective just came on, and we were like,
True
season
Detective
one,
was fucking
which was
amazing.
fucking incredible.
And then, you know what? I love that Pretty Little Lie. Was that what it was called?
Yeah,
Yeah.
well, Big Little Lies. They're doing
Big
their second
Little
season.
Lies was
It was okay.
so fucking. I thought it was so good, man.
They're
I thought-
coming back.
And you know what I liked about Big
They
Little
added
Lies?
Meryl Streep.
Okay, well, wait.
We didn't
wait.
need Meryl Streep, but I'm with it.
So
I'm
if
with
you
it.
like
didn't
Big
either,
Little
but
Lies,
yeah.
you might like Sharp Objects because it's the same director.
So
That's
here's-
what I'm saying. Like it had that vibe.
Here's the thing about Big Little Lies, which I thought was so fucking good. If you guys haven't seen it, you're
the
listening.
kitchens,
go watch
the
it.
fantastic kitchens overlooking the ocean.
Beautiful views. I mean, gorgeous. It
Great
was
venues.
aspirational.
That is
It was
what I-
aspirational.
that's what I was
but
in
here's
for.
what it was. It had a sense of humor. It was fun. It was a dark show with a sense of humor, and it managed to be quite unpredictable. I did give myself credit. I did predict who ended up killing the person like that.
Oh
but
yeah, I
like,
called that early too.
I called it, but
Yeah.
I was still enjoyed the whole thing. It was a great thing where you don't know who died, and you don't know who did it, and you maintained our attention the entire time. A show about a
Because you get
murder.
invested in the characters. See, that's the thing. If we're looking at Westworld, right?
Yeah.
This season, was it really about the characters, or was it about just putting the characters in these scenarios that,
Good
like,
point. I
like
don't care
Big
about
Little
the
Lies? What happens
stories.
with Big Little Lies is there's the setup, which is the seasonal arcing mystery,
Yeah.
and then you get invested in these
I
characters'
just
lives.
want to know what's her face is doing.
Right, and,
what's her name?
Nicole Kidman or
The other one.
Renee Zellweger,
Reese Witherspoon.
Reese Witherspoon.
Yeah, I'm just like, hey, let's hang out with you. You're
but,
interesting. Yeah.
But I'm saying, like, throughout the season, you get invested in these characters, and they have their little subplots, and
Yeah,
like
yeah,
that's
yeah.
the way that it should be constructed, and that's kind of what it was in season one of this, because we're getting introduced to these characters the first time. Season two, this, I don't think it was about the characters. It was bigger than the
Simplify
characters.
it,
It was about
Jonathan. Simplify. Come on, little back to the basics.
yeah.
Back to the
Bring
basics.
in Christopher season 3.
Ooh, that's a. Ooh.
Bring in Christopher.
You get a response to that tweet.
Yeah.
If you just tweet at Jonathan right now, be
Yeah.
like, hey,
Bring Christopher in.
lose Lisa.
Go to the dugout. We're bringing
bring
out
in
Christopher.
Chris. Yeah.
No, you tweet Lisa,
Oh God.
and that's what you say.
Ooh.
Lose Jonathan, bring in Chris.
Whoa.
Wow.
Whoa.
I don't think Chris is
That
going
was
to do it.
evil, bro.
They might have to.
Thanks, bro.
Could go on a limb.
Hot take.
Bold
Hot take over
predictions.
there.
Bold predictions.
Thanks,
Westworld
man.
season 3. Chris Nolan doesn't get involved.
Okay. I think the next thing that I don't know when it comes out, but
Uncle
we're
Drew
definitely gonna
next
do.
weekend.
Is it next
It
weekend?
comes out next week.
So we're gonna do Uncle Drew, Flagrant 2 Westerbros crossover. I don't know how we're gonna figure it out with the mics, but we're gonna figure it out. It's gonna be a lot of us, but yeah. So that'll be the next thing we do: the Flagrant 2 Westerbros Uncle Drew crossover. And
That'll
then
be
also
good.
throw us some suggestions of films and shit that you think that we should check out.
You know what I think could be cool? We're talking about, like, we have a lot of these, like, discussions about some movies. Like, we should, if we're in between shows and we're not necessarily jumping into another thing,
Yeah,
we should do an episode like Cruise versus, maybe we watch a Tom Cruise movie and a Cage movie.
I love it.
Or we do the rom-coms that we never, like, we just cover
Yeah,
some of these.
we
Like,
should
we should
start
go
doing
back
that.
and watch
Yeah.
some shit that we can have the audience watch and listen back with us and be like,
Yeah.
and revisit, like, a
Dude,
timeless classic.
Forrest Gump, but viewed through like social justice warriors, I think would be great.
Me Too, yeah.
Dude,
Viewed
that
through
would-
the lens of Me Too
whole,
movement.
You could have a whole series of movies that couldn't be made right now. Movie or TV shows that couldn't be made right now.
Yeah.
Yeah, Cocktail. He's just drugging women all night and banging them.
Yo, Entourage can be made right now. Shit, I watched like an episode of The Office. I was like, yo, they couldn't.
Which
even
one? The
Make,
gay one?
they couldn't even make The Office right now.
Dude, there's no way in hell they could
You
make
know what
it.
episode of Friends was on, and I watched it. It was half of it was about like this Manny and how he was like they were all calling him gay. I was like, this shit wouldn't happen. This shit wouldn't exist now.
Like shit you can't make now.
Yeah.
It's a damn shame.
That's why we gotta go to like AIs.
Like Roseanne.
That's why everything is AIs because we can't make fun of real people anymore.
Roseanne just lost her entire show.
Whoa. Haney.
Ooh.
Hot take, bro. Very good. That's really good. Yeah, we have no sympathy for them. We can make fun of them. They're
Haney,
not real
you
people.
can rape them, kill. You
rape
can
them.
do whatever you want to do with them.
Ringer. Ringer?
No, that was
Yeah.
me.
Yeah,
That
That's
was me.
all you?
That was organic. That was right now on the spot.
Son, you don't need that. You don't need the help, bro. You don't need the research. We're gonna get right into the car. It's gonna be like, actually, that's the reason why AIs were invented because there's less compassion for them.
I switched that shit.
Before you got
Getting
it.
I put the volume on full blast and like push it T.
Okay, you were saying about Roseanne. You're gonna give us a hot take.
Where's this going?
Oh, I'm just saying, like
Let me walk off the camera real quick.
Roseanne lost her show
Mm-hmm.
over saying some shit that's said in a lot of these shows 10 years ago, 5 years ago. Like, you know
Oh,
what
I
I
see
mean?
what
It's
you're
like
saying. Yeah.
Yeah.
now you lose your show. Back then, you gain more views. Now it's just a whole different time. It's crazy.
Yeah, man.
It's too PC. We're too fucking sensitive.
Well, if you want to get away from the PC shit, come out to an Andrew Schulz comedy show,
Hey, there you go.
and we'll have some nice throwback comedy. Okay.
All right.
Thank you guys so much for listening. Westerbros. We'll see you soon. Peace.